Ladies and gentlemen, this bout coming your way is a junior lightweight special attraction scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you our judges at ringside. Scoring this bout, we have Dr. James Jenkin, Lou Filippo, and Dave Nelson. And our referee in charge of this bout, introducing Robert Byrd. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing red trunks with white trim, fighting out of New York City by way of San Felipe, Venezuela. He weighed in at 130 pounds even, with a record of 22 wins, 13 losses, and 3 draws. He has 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former IBF Junior Featherweight Champion of the World, Jose Sanabria. His opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, the 10th-round attraction, entering the ring wearing multicolored trunks, fighting out of Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico. His weight 130.5 pounds. His record includes 53 wins, 9 losses, and 4 draws, with 35 wins coming by way of knockout. He also is a former world champion. He held the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World. Introducing the colorful Clown Prince of Boxing, here is Jorge Maromero Paez. Once again, Robert Byrd, our referee in charge.
Okay, I gave you gentlemen your instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to tell you now is when I tell you to stop, you stop whatever you're doing. Break and break clean. Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to me at all times. Let's do it.
All right, you saw Paez in the colorful garb and do his backflip when introduced by Jimmy Lennon. Sanabria, stony-faced, intense, watching all of it. Make no mistake about it, when he's right, Paez can fight. He's quick-handed, quick-footed, and aside from being a real showman, he is a professional fighter.
The last time he did a flip, he was at 135 also.
Yes. So here he is at 130, hoping to get down eventually to 126, where he feels it's his best fighting weight. And we start out in what will be a 10-round affair. Paez, multicolored, throws a big overhand right. Sanabria says, okay, the fight is on.
Well, he's won his last 2 bouts following 4 straight defeats, but felt that only Oscar De La Hoya really beat him in that 4-fight losing streak. Tom De La Hoya, of course, just slammed him in 2 rounds in Las Vegas. But the other fights he lost Genaro Hernandez on cuts here in a very competitive fight last year here at the Pond. He was right in that bout, but was bleeding too badly, and the fight was stopped, and Hernandez was the winner. And then the other 2 bouts, Jose Vita Ramos won. Paez was disqualified when he appeared to have Vita Ramos all but finished off, and a very tight decision when they fought a rematch at Lake Tahoe.
And among his other defeats, of course, he lost to Freddie Pendleton, champion, that fight in Vegas, and he also lost in Reno a few years ago when he battled Pernell Whitaker, but he won 12 rounds with Whitaker.
Oh yeah, you take a look at Paez's record, Tom, and the only losses that he's got really are to world champions.
Yes.
You mentioned some of them, and Rafael Ruelas, another world champ, Tony Lopez, another world champ, and De La Hoya and the like. Those guys are world champs, and he's beaten a lot of world champs himself.
He has indeed. Got nailed with a pretty good left. Lands a pretty good left. Paez, the smaller of the 2 men, as they line up here. He's at 5'6". Sanabria with 1.5 inches advantage in height. It looks like it's a bit more when they stand nose to nose. Referee is Robert Byrd. This is scheduled for 10. Paez hoping to move his way right back into possibly a title shot. He'd like to fight at 126.
Well, these are 2 guys who really want one more try at the brass ring, Tom. Paez is 30, going to be 31 here shortly, and Sanabria is 33.
Yep.
This is the case of a guy that just ate his way out of a title because he never lost at 126.
That's right.
He just gave up the title.
Yeah. You're talking about Paez.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, he made 8 successful defenses of that championship and then gave it up, stepped up in weight to 130 to try Tony Lopez for that title.
Well, he not only ate his way out, he kind of danced and played his way out of it, too. He danced every dance. Jorge Paez has. He's had a colorful existence in and out of the ring.
thing about Paez, though, is he retains his popularity. They had a public workout here last week at the fighters, and of all the fighters in the card, he's still getting the biggest cheers.
And he's catching a lot of punches from Sanabria, bobbing, dancing, weaving, bent over in a crouch. The crowd thrilled by it, but he's getting hit by Sanabria here in round number 1. A real slugfest. Toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose, belting each other. There's the bell at the end of round number 1, and each man, I'm sure, felt a lot of that action and knows they're in a fight.
Jorge, el tipo es lento, el ritmo es lentón, se va a cansar, pero tira los golpes por arriba.
They're telling him to throw some punches overhead. He says that he's lowering his hands too much.
Y abajo, todos los golpes van a ser abajo.
He says don't throw all the punches underneath.
The last 30 seconds were classic. These two just stood toe-to-toe and exchanged. They both had their opportunities to land big punches. I think Sanabria got a little bit better of the exchanges in that last minute.
They're telling him to throw from almost overhead rights and then throw the hook underneath. Paez said that after losing in the disqualifications, he would just let go of his manager. He says he took on Dean Gerritsen. Now he's training on his own. And he says, there's nothing to do but throw punches. What else am I going to do? I have to throw punches, and that's how I win. Apparently, that's what he wants to do.
Paez, the shorter of the two and the more colorfully garbed, to be sure. Sanabria backing him up with a two-fisted attack. Jorge trying to dance away, bob and weave his way, slip the punches away. And he does so cleverly in the corner as he is there, and then he's gone. He gets nailed with the right hand. Sanabria, out of his 22 victories, has 12 knockouts. Paez has won on 35 knockouts and 55 victories.
I think Paez, since he started in boxing, was a very gifted fighter in the ways he could move. He can do things that very few, even some of the great champions, were able to do.
Well, we saw some of that acrobatic ability before the fight, but, he is possessed of great athleticism, real maneuverability in the ring, and he's always carried a pretty good punch, too.
And all natural. He only had 3 amateur fights. His grandmother told him, if you're going to fight for money, don't just get beat up free.
Yeah. Sage advice from a smart grandmother, to be sure.
These guys were both world champion. Actually, they both won their championships in the same year, back in 1988. As I mentioned, Sanabria beating Moises Fuentes then to win the 122-pound title. And it was a victory for Paez over Calvin Grove to win the IBF 126-pound championship.
One of the few fighters today that still fought at 15 rounds.
In fact, that was the last 15-round fight, Paez and Calvin Grove.
Paez quick-handed. Sanabria right in front of him. These are just two guys trading it toe-to-toe. It's going to be decided by which can impose his will on the other, gentlemen. These two guys are not going to take a backward step unless they're falling down doing it.
I don't think they know how.
No. It is going to be a tremendous war of attrition between these two.
Sanabria, I've always thought he's an interesting fighter, Tom, because he sits there, it looks like he should be boxing, and he starts off boxing, but then as soon as the guy slugs him, it's like, okay, I'll slug you. Consequently, good fights.
I say that he wasted a lot of his career by not training properly, not going in the ring in right conditioning. But you know that at this weight, he is in good condition.
Working that left hand, good right, followed by a dandy left thrown by Paez. And I tell you, Sanabria's got a great chin. Paez nailing him. Solid shots. Good round for Paez, I thought, gentlemen.
Certainly was, Tom, and in the last minute, he really owned it.
What is happening is that he's finding the range. He is able now to pick up the distance, what that benefits him, and throw punches.
Mira, dime una cosa, Sanabria, está peleando bien, pero este hombre no se lo puede.
They're telling him that you're fighting okay, but you can't stand in front of him.
No puede bajar la mano, bájate la mano y cogiste gancho izquierda fuerte, yo. Trabaja
Paez with some great work now in round 2, making Sanabria miss there, just stepping out of range. Sanabria trying to pump the jab to get within range, but then look at the leverage on the left hook of Paez. He's really digging the punches to the body. Coming up with the right lead, then following it. Paez's punches were far more accurate, far more stinging in that second round.
They're telling Paez to keep on working with the hook, up and down. Don't leave himself open. Be very careful because Sanabria apparently they believe he's dangerous still.
Sanabria, in point of fact, has lost 5 of his last 9. It's his first fight in 1996. He is 33. One, including himself, I suppose, wonders how long can he continue. He is a guy who stands there. Look at these 2 exchange punches. Oh, Paez is nailing him with solid shots. And yet Sanabria keeps moving forward, guys.
He's moving Paez back, if you can believe that.
I think if they have a combates explosivos 2, you can use some of the highlights out of this fight.
Oh, amen. Nice left-handed uppercut, not 1 but 2 by Paez. But if Sanabria has anything, guys, he's got a magnificent set of whiskers, hasn't he?
Yes, he does, Tom. He's only been stopped 1 time. Remember, Luis Espinosa is the only guy that's been able to stop Sanabria.
But you know what? This is the kind of fighter that will get hurt. The body's not made to take this kind of punishment and still in such an extended period.
He's the kind of fighter that you hang the sobriquet on. Boy, what a tough guy. And of course,
Don't put that hand out there.
absorbing a lot of punishment.
Wow.
Tough indeed. Debilitating in the long run, to be sure.
You know, Paez, when he was talking to, you see these guys going at it when they were doing, when they had them together yesterday, filming some of the clips. He was talking to, he says, you know, it's a rough business we're in it, aren't we?
Yep.
Was talking about his trip coming in from Venezuela. He says, was everything okay? Did you have any problems?
Yeah.
Now he's giving them problems here.
He is indeed. Sanabria is not without considerable talent, punching power of his own. And Jorge Paez, while he is carrying the action here, gets nailed as he works his way inside, bobbing, weaving.
Now Paez is trying to dwindle him down by hitting him into the body quite a bit.
Well, I tell you,
Left hand to the body and a good uppercut followed a good shot to the liver.
Tom, that's been a great punch for him tonight, that left hand to the body. He's really digging it. I mean, he's bending that left knee and just digging great leverage. And now he continues to try that uppercut. He's found success. I think he thinks that's a ticket here, perhaps for a knockout for him.
Good left hand, quick right. Jumps after Sanabria with a right hand. This is round 3. It's scheduled for 10. You better have somebody bring a tall, cool one into the living room for you, because you leave, you're going to miss something here, toe to toe.
Tom, I'd be willing to say this might be the best round Jorge Paez has fought in 3 years.
Could very well be. Could very well be. Blood coming from the mouth of Sanabria. Another left hand by Paez.
Wow, Paez was scintillating in that round.
Unbelievable. And this crowd, obviously, of course, pro-Maromero Paez, really appreciated what an outstanding round of boxing he threw in.
And we'll take a look early in the round. And Paez coming forward. Sanabria willing to mix it up with him at this point, but Paez too fast. Look at the strength in that right hand. And the left hook by Paez, again, that's what really started the downfall of Sanabria in that round. The left hook just continued to land cleanly and briskly throughout the round. From our overhead camera, you take a look at near the end of the round. Paez at this point was in complete control, and this time he was backing Sanabria up. And Sanabria was on a little bit of a wobbly leg there at the end of the round.
Understandably, I think it was punch after punch, hardly without a miss, that Paez was laying on him, point of the chin, working to the body, back upstairs, Up they come for round number 4.
If I was in Sanabria's corner, I would tell him, go full speed a couple of rounds. If he can't do anything to this guy, let's stop it because you're not going to beat him at that rate.
Tom, that third round was shades of Paez in the late 80s.
Vintage Jorge. This is round number 4, scheduled for 10.
I don't know if Sanabria has lost power, but I know that you can see that he's lost speed on his punches.
Yes. He is slower of hand and foot. He is obviously right in front of Paez and waiting there to be hit. Very obliging in that regard. He's got a great chin, and he loves nothing better than a slugfest. Sanabria.
You remember that Zaragoza couldn't get him out of there. Gotti couldn't get him out of there. The Helio Tour couldn't get him out of there. Top-notch fighters. Only Espinoza, and of course Espinoza carries a tremendous clout in his punch. Has been able to stop Sanabria.
Got to remember that he's 33 and wonder, how long can he continue to stand there and slug with some of the best, chopping left, right. Those punches by Sanabria, Fernando, seem to be pushing a lot of them out there rather than snapping them out.
I don't think there's anything behind him anymore, and I think their corners should be really be looking at what is happening.
Sanabria looks like he's lost his legs.
Yeah. Paez is on him all over him like a free lunch. That left hand is a thing of beauty.
This is a kind of a fight in which you have a guy that is too proud for his own good.
Blood coming from the mouth of Sanabria as Paez advances. Left and right combinations, doubling up with the left hand, and Sanabria just kind of throwing out a punch every now and then to keep Paez off balance, which he hasn't been able to do.
I just can't believe the Paez I'm seeing in there, Tom. He's rolling back the years. It's unbelievable. His combinations, especially with the body, have just been fantastic.
He's almost now acting with disdain for the punching power of Sanabria. Giving it that old bolo. Watch this one while he hits you with the left hand. Sanabria catching everything Paez throws. Paez might be a little arm weary right now. 10 seconds remain. Paez with a good left. Left-right combination. Sanabria missing. Paez back to the attack again. There's the bell. The blood you see on Paez is blood coming from Sanabria. Waiting in the wing. It has finally come to pass. Mark II Sharp Johnson, the undefeated in his last 27 bouts, finally getting a chance at the IBF flyweight title. What a classic, tough competitor this guy is. And he's in against a guy who is no walk in the park. Francisco Tejedor put on, gentlemen, a great performance against Romero. And Romero beat for the first 5 or 6 rounds before fading in an outstanding fight. That's coming up. And now we go to the corner with Paez.
They're telling him this will not get away. This is your fight. He says that it's over. Pretty much. In the other corner, the doctor came in, and he says this is it. One more round, and that's all they're going to allow, apparently.
Sanabria has really taken a terrible beating in the last 2 rounds.
He has indeed. And he's bleeding from the mouth, and of course, swallowing some of that blood, and that's a terrible thing, too, for a fighter. Very debilitating.
They're going to give him one more round. If he doesn't do it much in this, he's going out. They're telling him, also they tell him, says, Maromero will take a punch. He can't be hit. But I don't think you can convince Sanabria at this point.
No, and I don't know that he's got the punch to hurt him anymore now.
No.
He doesn't look too happy in that corner about coming out, actually, to me.
Very dejected. He's rubbing in his mouth. Mouthpiece is in. Lip is cut. Got to be swallowing blood.
And I think at this point, Paez wants to do like a mercy killing. He just want to go ahead and end it up. Finish, try to hit many punches if he can, so that Robert Byrd will stop it.
They just banged heads. No cut, though. Maromero Paez was fearful of having a big gash over the right eye. Sanabria's come out full of fire here in this, the 5th round, but Paez looks like a guy stalking his prey, doesn't he?
He's absolutely confident that he can't even be hit anymore.
I wonder if the thought isn't running through his body. I've hit this guy with some of the best shots I have ever thrown, and he's still standing there.
I don't think that's the way he thinks. I think he knows that he is the kind of fighter that overwhelms the opposition, not with a single punch, but with many.
And I think he'll keep going. You know, he had that fight against Vita Ramos, that second. When he had that fight, he seemed to be well ahead after 8, 9 rounds, and he just kind of stopped fighting the last 2 or 3, and it cost him the decision. I don't think there'll be any let-up.
Big left hand by Paez. Sanabria's punches lack any credibility.
Very slow now, the punches from Sanabria. Almost slow motion.
Yeah. Blood coming from the lower lip of Sanabria. Paez bobbing, weaving, moving his way in, jumps at the attack. Right hand lead. Takes about 3 straight right in the middle of his face, but they barely made him blink.
This is going to be one of those fights in which, for the first time in a long time, you're going to see the doctor stopping the fight.
Well, the blood is even more evident now around the lips and mouth of Sanabria. Big uppercut by Paez and a right hand. I don't know, is Paez cut above the right eye from that headbutt, or is there just blood there from the glove?
There's just so much blood flowing around, it's hard to tell right now, Tom.
Tell you, I dare say they would do Sanabria a big favor if they stopped this fight. Do not allow it to continue after this round.
Show me something, kid. Show me something.
They're telling him to show him something. Well, first of all, I don't think he understands English.
No, probably not. Paez finding it hard to miss him now.
I think this is close to being over. If Robert Byrd would say...
I think it'd be the wise and prudent move, Rick.
Okay, listen to me. Clean him up. I don't get any more effort out of him. He takes clean shots the next round. I'm going to stop it, okay? You tell him. All right.
Tiene que tirar los puños,
Robert
Sanabria. ¿Qué
Byrd
pasa,
making his
hermano?
point very clear. Tell him if he takes any more of these shots in the next round, I'm stopping it. I don't know how many fans really appreciate the fact that it is the referee's jurisdiction to safeguard the health of the fighters in the ring. And that is his first and primary.
I think most of them do.
Yes, I do too. I think they are genuinely concerned about the welfare of the men fighting.
They're telling him again that if he keeps on receiving this kind of punishment, they will be throwing the towel in their corner.
Sanabria was well slowed by the end of that round, as you saw, missing punches. Paez continuing to put on the heat.
Sanabria, though, a gallant warrior. He's 33. Out he comes.
Well, he's been warned, Tom, so he's going to go for the gusto here right at the top.
He really is, yeah. Spurred on by the words of people in his corner and by the referee, Robert Byrd. Either get out there and fight or I'm going to stop this. Paez has himself covered up pretty well. Now Paez back to the attack.
But those would be what you would be calling non-punches from Sanabria. He's throwing quite a bit, not hitting anything, not being effective. But what a heart.
And again, blood from the mouth, lower lip.
Paez, at least for the moment, has stopped throwing punches.
Yes.
Not throwing him in bunches the way he was earlier. Perhaps he's looking to load up and take him out of there with one big shot.
Now that blood coming from the right eye of Maromero Paez.
That might give him a sense of urgency also.
Well, he'll remember what happened here in his fight with Jamal Hernandez, probably, because he was starting a very good fight against Hernandez when he was cut. Fight was stopped, and he ended up losing that bout.
A lot of blood now from the right eye of Paez. He's got Chuck Bodak in his corner, one of the best cut men in the business. But I tell you, Sanabria's been hit and hit and hit.
Brutal to watch.
He's stopping it. Byrd is stopping it. Maromero Paez. The actor goes over to see.
We were talking about people wanting to see that wanting to see a bloodbath. I think we were wrong.
Yes, yes. But I tell you, show me somebody with more heart than Sanabria. I mean, he's a true professional, Rich. He just was not going to back up. Gave it the best he had, just did not have enough.
Yeah,
and at 33, his career might very well be a thing of the past.
All right, let's take a look at the end of the fight, Tom. Paez's punches were hard. Sanabria was back into slow motion again here. Left hook for Paez was a big weapon tonight. He landed it twice there beautifully, and Robert Byrd had enough. I think that was a very good decision by Byrd. Even though the crowd is booing, I just really don't know what they want. Left hook by Paez. Now he'll land another one. They're just hard, clean, brutal shots. And he had taken 3-4 rounds of a bad beating anyway. I mean, what is the point? The kid does not have any chance of winning this fight, Sanabria. There's no point really in it continuing.
No. He was very game in that the 6th round. He came out at the urging, of course, or the demands of his corner and the referee to fight or the thing would be stopped. Out he came, gave it his best effort, but it wasn't enough. And this man, they've got him cleaned up now, and that cut over his eye, we don't see too much blood from that. It might have been from that headbutt, I don't know.
Very possibly.
Yeah, and then exacerbated by the punches that Sanabria did throw in round number 6.
Because he blinked hard that eye as soon as he was head-butted, Tom. That's a good performance for Paez. 3rd straight win now, putting himself back into the picture of things once again.
Impressive showing. Remind me not to ask him where he gets his haircut. I don't want to get trapped in one of those. There's Sanabria. They're going to look inside his mouth. Pretty well cut up in there. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has the official time of the victory. Here's Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute 42 seconds in round number 6. In order to avoid further punishment, a referee in charge, Robert Byrd, stops the contest. The winner by way of knockout, Jorge Maromero Paez.
Very nice victory for Paez. He was very impressive tonight. Very impressive. He was in great shape. He was in magnificent shape. No pain, no gain, he says. And of course, bleeding from a cut above his right eye. He and Sanabria gave this great crowd at the Anaheim Pond a magnificent display of courage and punching ability. Fernando Padamo is in the ring with the Clown Prince of boxing. It'll be interesting now. Fernando, I'm sure he'll want to talk about going to 126 pounds. He would have to take off 4, and that could very well be his next step. Let's go up to Fernando and find out how Paez feels about the victory. Fernando?
Jorge, no pain, no gain?
¿Eso qué? Tú viste, como es el que conmigo yo, no pain, no gain. Tuvo que sacar del mexicano para ganar la pelea.
He said basically he had to come up with about Mexicans have to come out to win the fight. I guess basically you have to really work hard for this. Tuviste que trabajar duro para esta pelea, para este triunfo.
Así es, lo que pasa es que yo trabajé duro en entrenamiento en el gimnasio. Con Clemente fue que me ayudó, pero el rival yo nunca pensaba que me iba a salir duro y fuerte, ¿no?
Basically says that he did work very hard with his people. He said that they didn't realize how the opponent would be so tough, so valiant. We gotta take a look at the end of the fight. Vamos a verlo al final de la pelea. Dinos qué pasa.
Y aparte, mira, fue un cabezazo que me pegó un cabezazo que así.
He says that he was hit with the head. That's how he was open.
Pero fue valiente, y como yo, pues eso me gustan a mí, valiente, para adelante.
That's what he likes, the kind of opposition, that somebody that's really valiant, that will go forward, that will fight.
Así es, pero Ni modo, el referee se metió cuando no se debía meterse, porque había un momento donde yo tenía para que lo quitaran, pero no lo quitó, y cuando no debió quitarlo, lo quitó, después la gente se enojó.
Basically, the referee intervened at the wrong time. He said that he had him before, that he should have stopped it then. He didn't, and when he stopped the fight, that was some of the reason that the people started screaming here and yelling. What happens to you now? Ahora, ¿qué haces ahora? ¿Qué pasa?
Lo que pasa ahorita, pues, yo nunca esperaba que iba a salir cortado, porque el rival, yo sabía quién era el rival, y dije, pero nunca lo esperé tanto así, me salí cortado, pero no fue golpe, fue cabezazo, pegó 2 cabezazos, el referee no miró, pero no hay problema. Ya ahora con esto, ya pues, se bajan un poquito los planes, porque iba a pelear en Las Vegas, en el mes y medio entrante, pero ni modo. En una semana descansamos y otra vez estamos en el gimnasio en Caché otra vez.
So basically, that he had plans to fight in about a month and a half, although he was cut with through a headbutt. Now that he has to delay his training to go fight in later on. So that is it, pretty much. Felicidades.
Y esta pelea se le queda al señor Augusto Hernández Bermúdez de Mexicali.
Basically, it's dedicated this fight.
Oh boy.
Somebody from Mexicali. Back to ringside.
Well, he's